sitting up in my tree, in my tree.
Sorry, wrong Elvis. So what is ELVIS? ELVIS stands for Electronic License and Vehicle Information System. It's a tool primarily designed for easy running of vehicle registrations and driver's licenses and importing that data into TraCS. It has access to all 50 states, DC, Puerto Rico, and Canada through inlets. It provides standard NCIC, FCIC hot file hits for warrants and domestic violence injunctions. It provides access to wanted queries, concealed weapons permits, boating registrations, and firearms. It is also free to law enforcement agencies in Florida. It's grant funded by FDOT. ELVIS is entirely web-based. There is nothing to install or update. ELVIS can be accessed on any agency-owned devices such as an MDT, desktop, tablet, or smartphone. It will return driver license photos for approximately 42 states. States are required to opt into this program, and not all states elect to share photos. Photos are provided by Inlet's Interstate Sharing of Photos, also known as NISP. ELVIS will import driver and vehicle information into TraCS for all 50 states. Here is a list of the states currently sharing photos. How ELVIS and David differ. ELVIS is grant funded by FDOT, whereas David is grant funded by DHSMV. ELVIS accesses FCIC, NCIC, and inlets, and David only accesses Florida DHSMV records. ELVIS returns warrants, injunctions, stolen vehicle alerts, and Amber alerts, and David does not. ELVIS will import into TraCS for all 50 states, and David does not import into TraCS. Florida driver history is not available in ELVIS. You may receive driver history from states that provide that information. Florida driver history is available in David. There are two ways to log on to ELVIS depending on how you plan on using it. If you're using ELVIS without the need to import into TraCS, open your web browser and go to elvisflorida.org. Once the page opens, click the Sign In button. If ELVIS is being used to pre-fill TraCS forms, you must log on to TraCS first. Once logged on to TraCS from the main Forms Manager page, click on the Tools tab at the top. Click on the ELVIS Import button. Your web browser will automatically open and take you to the Sign On page. Click the single sign-on button located on the left side. Verify your email address is correct. Below the email address, you will be required to put a check in the box certifying that you have read and understand the terms of use. Click the Sign In button. Single sign-on will then launch Okta. If you have push notifications set, you will then be prompted on your phone to click the Yes, It's Me button on your phone. This will authenticate your credentials and ELVIS will then launch. If you do not have push notifications activated on Okta, you will be required to enter a code to authenticate your credentials. Once Signal Sign-On has been authenticated, you will then be logged on ELVIS. When logged on through TraCS and the sync has been established, you will get a green bar that says TraCS Florida has been granted access to ELVIS. If you do not see this green bar, you will have to close ELVIS in TraCS and repeat the logon procedure. This notification confirms that both TraCS and ELVIS have synced in order for TraCS to receive information ran in ELVIS. Once logged on ELVIS, you will be on the dashboard screen. The dashboard saves the last 14 days of information ran. If you need to rerun something that you've previously ran in the last 14 days, click on the hyperlink. Across the top, you will notice a query bar to enter the driver license number, tag or VIN number, the state, and the type of vehicle. It defaults to passenger car. If you wish to run a concealed weapon permit check at the time of running a vehicle or person, change No CCW, which is the default, to Run CCW. A concealed weapons permit check can also be done after the person query has come back. On the state field, you can either click on the down arrow to scroll through the states, or you can hit the first letter of a state multiple times to find the correct state that starts with that letter. When running a query, you will receive voice readback of certain information.
Expired vehicle registration, driver license not valid, 2000, red, Ford, two-door sedan.
The query response must be in this format in order for it to import into TraCS. If the query is not in this format, it will not import into TraCS. There are several reasons why a query may not be in this format. One example could be as simple as the state's DHSMV placing a space or an improper character placement that does not allow ELVIS to format the query into this format. To report a query that is not in this format, click Report a Problem. This will create an ELVIS support ticket. It will include the hyperlink to the query in which you are reporting. Move the cursor to the end of where it says, "The problem I'm having is," and type the issue. For example, it will not parse or import into TraCS. Once you have documented the issue, click Save. This will send the issue to ELVIS. The issue may be resolved for the next person that conducts the same query. If the ELVIS staff sees the issue as a common problem related to a particular state, they may be able to make a global change to resolve the issue. You will receive an email confirmation with the service ticket you placed. There may be status updates on your service ticket. If there are any comments added to the service ticket or they need additional information, you will receive additional service ticket emails. There are additional search options located on the left side of the screen below the query bar. You may query by drivers and vehicles, aircraft, wanted in history, gang files, miscellaneous, which will include such things as firearms and hazardous material inquiries, and Canadian interface, which will allow you to run Canadian licenses and vehicle information. Next to each category, you will see an expander button located on the right side. If you click on the expander button, it will open additional search options for that category. You may then select the appropriate query. The query response in ELVIS should be in this format. You will notice that if you were to scroll down while it's in this format, you will see the raw data like you're used to seeing when you query somebody on your MDT. Up near the top, there are tabs that will also take you to those queries directly. Under the full response to the right of the picture, you can query concealed weapons permit. If you click the driver license by region button and enter the person's information, you can check a region which would be the neighboring states for a person's driver license or ID card information. When querying an NCIC FCIC, there's a number of hits that you may receive. This is a partial list of those hits. These hits are hyperlinks that if you click on them, it will take you directly to where the response is for that hit. Please verify that the information for the hit matches the subject, vehicle, or property that is associated with the hit. Once the query has come back, if you are needing to import that data into TraCS, you will then go back into the TraCS program. There are two places in TraCS that you can go to import that data from ELVIS. If you're on the Forms Manager page, you'll click on the Tools tab and click on ELVIS Import. If you have a form open, under the Home tab of the form, you will notice there is an ELVIS Import button. If you click on the ELVIS Import button, you will notice the screen will look like it is frozen for a couple of seconds, and then you will see the name in the name section and the vehicle in the vehicle section on the TraCS form. When you click on the ELVIS Import button and the screen goes a light gray and freezes for just a second, it is importing the data from ELVIS into TraCS on the back end. There are times it may take additional time to complete the import process. Do not try and exit out of this. The ELVIS Import button must be used anytime new names or vehicle information is needed for import into TraCS. Only one application can automatically import into TraCS, and our MDT application is pointed to TraCS for this automatic import. In the top right corner of the screen below the query button, you will see a light bulb icon. Clicking this icon will toggle the screen from day to night mode. To log off ELVIS, click on the profile icon button located below the query button and choose to log out all devices or this device. As a reminder, ELVIS does not have the ability at this time to access Florida driver history information. You may receive driver history from states that provide that information. You cannot run a subject by Social Security number in ELVIS. Florida driver history and querying a Florida ID or DL by Social Security number must be completed in David. Local pickups and local history information will not be queried through ELVIS. You will not get a local pickup hit through ELVIS. ELVIS will only provide all FCIC and NCIC entered hits. All queries conducted in ELVIS are subject to departmental and state audits. Usage policies mirror that of FCIC, NCIC, David, and departmental policies. Please familiarize yourself with our agency SOPs. Non-official business queries are subject to disciplinary action. If your FCIC, NCIC certification has expired when querying on the MDT, it will also be suspended in ELVIS.